Why did the rebels put so much money into these, like, I don't know,
Great.
couples huts?
I like the language of this clip because everything is terrorism when it's the other team.
Vel describes the whole group from Aldani on as Luthen's puppets. What? Why?
But look how thin the usable space is. Today we're watching Andor, Season 2, Episode 7. What happened in the episode?
Episode 7, we start off with Bix and Cassian living that domestic life in an awesome hut on Yavin 4.
Cyril is starting to suspect shadiness and he gets slapped.
Yeah, and then we see the base, the rebel base on Yavin 4 starting to get built up.
And we get to meet General Davitz Draven.
And then Cassian flies back to Ghorman to do some stuff.
Where Vel and Bix start questioning their loyalty to Luthen.
Yep, and then Willman is keeping his eyes on that rebellion.
And
Staying
Cassian
focused.
checks into that one hotel on Ghorman one more time.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think about the episode?
Today's episode, I give it a 6 out of 10. To me, it's a solid episode. Feeling good about the episode. It's great story, great production values. It's great setup for events coming up in the next couple episodes. So that's good. And that's bad. It's good because it's good setup, but it's bad because it feels like not a filler episode, but like, does it need to be an episode?
Not much happens.
Yeah. I felt like the Force-sensitive lady was unnecessary on Yavin 4. I didn't really understand why Dedra was singled out for assassination. Yeah, she's bad, but she's in the Empire who ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? There's good character development. But I really do feel like this was set up for the next episode, next 2 episodes, because this is the first in the set of 3. So for me, overall, solid, but 6 out of 10. What do you think?
I gave this episode a 4 out of 10. It was a bit worse for me. So the pros that the ISB's long-term strategy is coming together, but also at the same time, I feel that Cyril is about to be betrayed. Like it's set up. Like the conflict is right there. More pros is that there's a cool vibe shift in Ghorman. So there was a approximately half year or something gap in between episode 5 and episode 6 and now episode 7. And so the Empire has tightened their control and there's a little bit more dystopian. There's a little bit more of the Empire is clamping down, but not in a good way. How do I say this? And so that's not changed. There was more barricades. The place wasn't so clean, a little bit dirty, and there was not as many people walking around, which really was a good feeling, like very good setting for this is where the Empire wanted this to go, to have all this civil unrest. Society is not as prosperous and happy as it was before. That's so cool. So very, very cool set design. I liked it a lot. Also good to see that Willman continued in his commitment and he is thriving well in the rebellion. In the previous episode 6, we ended with Willman taking off his mask and he's like coughing, gasping, but I guess that is part of joining the rebel cause. So now he's in and he wasn't just sitting around doing nothing. He's active. He's chasing down what his convictions are. So very good pros are there. The cons of the episode, and the cons were pretty rough, was that Mystic Lady. That felt very bad for me, very bad in terms of like storytelling. I guess it is plausible within this universe because there are Force-sensitive people. However, if it wasn't in the Star Wars universe, I would have been like, this is just lazy writing, because she explains what Cassian's internal feelings are, what his internal motivations, like what his hopes and dreams and what his purpose is. Like, how do you have that knowledge? Like in another show, this would have been an oracle. This would have been someone that like, I can see what your future has. I can see even what you don't know about yourself. And I was like, what is this? This is weird. It's people telling me what Cassian thinks instead of just Cassian either just doing it or Cassian like exposing his or discussing his thoughts and feelings to Bix. Like that would have been a natural conversation as well. But that isn't a natural conversation between them. Then you have this third character come in and explain it, and that was weird to me. That being said, it is Star Wars, so there are Force-sensitive people floating around the universe. So maybe. Another con, the last con that I have, is that something happened in the gap between episode 6 and episode 7. So in episode 6, we left off with Cassian and Bix. They killed Dr. Gorse. Bix has her emotional recovery. She's ready to fight again. She's back in the game. But then in episode 7, after this year-ish gap, they're both living a slow-paced life. Like what happened to that fire? What happened to like we're going to get out there and go fight, and then they're both slow-paced again? But without explanation, Bix's recovery feels I feel cheated. I feel cheated that Bix did this big F you, Dr. Gorse, I'm going to defeat you and I'm out of my PTSD. But then that fire doesn't go anywhere. So it felt weird. But maybe there's a bigger plan for this. So I'll just hang tight, see what happens in Andor. So overall, kudos for playing with the format of the TV series. So instead of having 12 episodes, it's 4 mini movies. And so there's going to be some growing pains because the story has some gap years in between. And so maybe this is just kind of the consequences of having that structure. But still, I approve of trying it. Otherwise, we only get the same old episodic series. We get the same old movies. And so this is like that in between. Very cool feeling. Those are my thoughts. 4 out of 10. Oh, 4 out of 10.
Well, let's get into it. And we start out the episode, Cassian and Bix living that domestic life. Like, what? They're on Yavin 4 on the military base for the rebels. Why did the rebels put so much money into these, like, I don't know, couples huts? What is going on?
Right, they get their own little private bungalow just for them. So yeah, exactly right. I had this feeling as well. I had this very like what? How are they affording this? Why are they living here? Because you think with the rebel base, they're always kind of on the run. You always have temporary bases, and so here somebody has done like many hours of fine woods craftsmanship.
Yeah, like if you had to bug out, instead of it being like some sort of modular thing that you can just load it up in the truck, load it up in the thing, and let's get out of here. It's like a hut. We got to leave it behind. So we just dumped all this manpower and energy into this hut, and probably multiple huts.
I mean, this is way more than a hut. This is some high luxury stuff. This is a luxury vacation here on Earth.
Yeah, looks like they've gone to Bali or something, and they've got one of those, week
over here during the day.
huts.
It's a Tulum. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's so bougie. It's like rich camping.
Yeah, it's a nice
back in the Star Wars universe, they are rebels. They're running from the Empire. They're hiding, and there's a bunch of them. So how did they even get the manpower to build huts for this? Like, is this just Cassian and Bix, or is this everyone has them?
No way does everyone have them. You got soldiers and students and pilots, and you're living in barracks and different things, and you're going to be coming and going, all kinds of. It's going to be like a barracks life, pretty modular. No way. Mm-hmm. But apparently, Luthen and the rebels are like, we need to... The high-level command people, they're coupled up.
Yep.
We need to make sure we have these cool huts.
You get the nice places.
Like, what? Also,
how many people...
The circular door, they got to have bug problems, right?
That's right. No screen here. No ceiling here. But there's probably bugs on the planet. It's like a part of the ecosystem. You need to have little insects that go around and eat all the dead stuff, or eat the small biological stuff. So it's probably not a bugless planet.
Maybe there's I don't know. It's so well engineered. There's overpressure inside, so there's constant airflow out the door. So any bug that tries to fly in, it gets pushed back out. This is engineered stuff. This isn't just some hut they threw up in the woods.
The air drafts up from some underground place where the air pressures are too hot for any insect to live. So you get a natural clean airflow. Oh man, that'd be cool.
Oh man, that means they got this infrastructure ready to built up on Yavin 4. What is this a waste of resources? What are we doing?
Yeah, why are we fighting a rebellion? Let's just open up a resort. What are we doing here?
What are we doing? Yeah, the Yavin 4 resort. Let's go. Maybe that's their revenue.
I like the language of this clip because everything is terrorism when it's the other team.
Applicable Ghorman resistance to imperial norms. Terrorism strikes again in Ghorman. There was a firebombing last night at the naval terminal. You can see behind me vapor and thermal smokes.
So I like the language of this news reporter. He says there's inexplicable terrorism. So whenever it's the other side, they have some moral just cause. It's always inexplicable, totally inexplicable.
Yeah, that's right. That's propaganda 101. When the other side does violence, it's like, what? Why did they do this? This is crazy. This makes no sense. It's violence out of nowhere. Surprise attack. It's terrible. But then when our side does it, it's justified. We were defending ourselves. Absolutely. If we hadn't been put in the position to do the violence, we never would have done it. It's just propaganda. It's so good.
Right down to the language. Here they're talking about a firebombing.
You can see behind was a firebombing last night.
like from these people's perspective, it's a firebombing. From the rebels' perspective, it's a non-violent protest, right? Because nobody got hurt, so therefore not violent. It's just things caught on fire.
Why is it? It's always the terrorists that are firebombing.
That's right.
Good guys don't firebomb; they bomb. If reluctantly bomb.
It's a tactical explosive. I think maybe
precision munitions.
I wonder if that's like a deeply human thing where fire feels out of control. So if there's a fire, then it's like they're crazy. Just anything is going to get caught on fire.
Yeah. They're just throwing stuff, ad hoc explosive, fire bombing.
But an explosive explodes one time, it's done. Whereas a firebomb, it could spread to nearby things, and the fire gets out of control. You start hurting a bunch of other people you don't want to. Maybe is that why? Is that why your enemy firebombs, but you tactical strike?
I think so. Something about that feels right.
Feels right.
Chaos of the firebombing, yeah. Because they're terrorists flying off the handle for no reason, unprovoked.
Provoked. Cool. I mean, gosh, not even micro manipulation of language, like clearly manipulating language. But yeah,
right.
Yeah. Anytime people that's not on your side does it, it's inexplicable terrorism, firebombing, bats. No, it's not. You know what's going on.
Just imperial propaganda.
Willman tries to get Andor on his team, but this is not how you do that.
At the naval.
My SP supervisor, Dedra, she killed my father. She's there in Ghorman. She's there waiting to be killed, and I know you're gonna say it's for revenge, but it's not. You know she has to be stopped.
You need to calm down.
You act like Luthen's the enemy.
That would be easier.
Well, I like this scene because Willman he's now a bit more experienced in the rebellion, and he's trying to get Cassian to go after Dedra, and Dedra has been chasing Cassian, but he's trying to get Cassian to motivated, and Cassian's like, hey, you got to slow it down, man. You're a young hotshot. You're going to get yourself in bad situations. Just slow it down, in the same fashion that Luthen talked to Cassian in the previous episode. Okay. What I don't like about this is that Willman's like, you're treating Luthen like the enemy. Like, hang on there. I'm still on the rebel side, but I'm just not as aggressively on the rebel side as you are. And then you're calling me a traitor for that? Too much, dude. Way too much.
Yeah. So I see what you're saying. It's like we're on the same team, so we're trying to figure out the best way to go forward. Don't be painting me as the enemy just because I disagree with you. Like, so unfair. Like, we're gonna start cleaving our movement if you keep doing this.
I agree with you. I want this person dead too, but I want him dead in 3 months. You want him dead right now, and then you're gonna turn around and be like, "You're a traitor." Like, okay, dude, you're gonna get me to actually leave the cause.
Yeah, he's young. That makes sense. He's doing that kind of like purity, emotional language too much, instead of realizing there's going to be friction within the group. He feels like he's justified, so anything that I say is justified. Like, wait a second, no.
And emotionally heightened, and everything feels like, I have to do it now, otherwise we're wasting time, we're falling behind. Whereas Cassie's like, the pace of this stuff is a lot slower than you think. But Willman needs to read that and figure out how to get Andor on his side rather than turning and being like, emotional blackmail. You're a traitor. Like, you're going to get me to leave the cause, dude.
Right. How old is Willman? Early 20s? It's fine.
Late 20s.
He'll learn.
Late 20s. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
He's growing pains.
Growing pains. This didn't make sense to me. Why did Enza Rylance slap Cyril?
Don't you know there's a curfew?
I needed to see you. I think there's a way out of this before things go too far. My people are convinced you're being coordinated by outside agitators. If we could lay this off on outsiders, then...
Yeah, why did that happen?
So Cyril, right here, I think Cyril is actually on their side.
Yeah.
In a sense. And he's saying he thinks there's outside agitators coming in, which, if true, means that the Ghorman people are being manipulated. Which means he's looking out for them, saying, hey, you guys might be being manipulated into something based on your feelings. I have information that I'm presenting to you. And he suggests that the rebellion on Ghorman should offload the blame onto the outside agitators, and she slaps him. Like, what?
I see. Yeah,
Why?
I thought so. One level was that it could be some cover story, like they were romantic, and then she slapped him. But I just like came up with that when I was watching it. But now that you've explained it, maybe what she's saying is like how dare you say that our cause is not genuine? Like she thinks that the Empire is coming in and taking over Ghorman, which they are, and that their cause is just. She feels like this is the right thing. And here Cyril is saying there might be outside people manipulating you, in which case she's taking a personal offense, and so she slaps him. Maybe?
Okay. Gosh, this is like if he's a true friend, he's going to tell her unpleasant truths, gets slapped. If he was a yes man, or like just told her what she wanted to hear, he ain't getting slapped ever.
Right.
So this is a tough situation for Cyril.
Yeah.
Of course, he's not.
If you want me to work on your cause, then don't hit me.
Don't hit me. Yeah. Especially if I'm looking out for you, don't hit me. Now, is he looking out? What is his angle? He's saying he wants to offload the Ghorman rebellion onto outside agitators so the Empire can come in and clamp down. But what's really going on is that Dedra behind the scenes just wants to destroy everybody and use the rebellion as a justification. So he's just wrong on all counts. But
I see what you're saying. You're saying that he is telling the Ghorman rebels, like, hey, they're outside agitators. If you can pin this on them, then you guys can exit and say that there are people playing games behind the scene. We were actually innocent.
She doesn't like that.
He doesn't like that. Yeah, I get it, because Cyril is effectively questioning the legitimacy of their cause, and she feels like we are fighting for our rights and independence and our sovereignty, and Cyril's like, no, you're getting played. Slap.
And actually, there are outside agitators, right? It is the rebellion and the Empire playing games with the Ghorman people. She doesn't want to hear it.
She slapped.
Slap him.
This woman is some type of dating coach within the rebel groups, but she is dark side, 100%.
Tell me what you saw. I sense the weight of things. Things I can't see. Pain, fear, need. Your pilot. There's some place he needs to be. Maybe you're the place he needs to be.
Like, it sounds good, right? It sounds good. She's giving Bix advice. Like, Cassian needs you to be his rock, to be his support. He's going through some stuff that he has like some higher power mission going on there. But at the end of this conversation, Bix talks to Cassian one more time, and then she leaves.
That's right. So you're saying this is the Sith found this weak Force user and is like planting them in the rebellion to, create divisions within the rebellion. Maybe, right? So Cassian has a mission, and he's a high level operative inside the rebel force, and so he wants to fight for Bix to make a better future for her. And then the Sith send in this lady and just break up everyone. Just be like, I'm going to counsel everyone to have a strong relationship, but she just breaks everyone. And then everyone's like, I have no reason to fight for this rebellion. Like, whatever. This life sucks. And there's that penthouse, that penthouse on Coruscant waiting for her when she gets back.
That's right.
Sweet rewards for helping destroy the rebellion.
Maybe this is Luthen's operative.
Oh.
Right, because Luthen says a couple times, he's a couple times where the relationships between his operatives is actually causing problems. So maybe Luthen sends her in, and he's like, just break up everyone, make sure my operatives are functional and independent.
That makes a lot of sense. So the manipulation vibes we're getting isn't Sith, which is pretty far-fetched, I think, because not a lot of Sith in the Empire, in the galaxy. But Luthen, this is something he might do to make sure that Cassian is firing on all cylinders. Okay.
Okay, maybe.
Okay.
Might be right.
I see it.
Still, it was weird that she was in the rebellion at all, because who is this lady? She's just...
Right, it's like a chaplain or something to help the morale, but she's going around poisoning the well. Like, what the heck?
Exactly. It's the dating coach.
Yeah. Cassian pissed me off here. Like, Willman is scared. Take care of your co-pilot. Come on now.
Look where you're going.
He said come in low, right?
No look flying.
No.
Look where you're going.
Yeah, Wilman's freaking out.
Right. Cassian is an experienced pilot who knows what he's doing. Wilman has no idea what he's doing, and he's in the co-pilot seat. He's on the back. So Cassian needs to do good crew resource management instead of it's called CRM, and give Wilman a job. Like look out for rebels. Look at this radar screen. Do this for me. Keep him occupied. Give him a job so he's contributing to the cockpit. Instead,
Otherwise,
yeah, go ahead.
Otherwise, he has no job here, no specific task, nothing to keep his mind occupied. And so he's looking outside the ravine and seeing how Cassian's narrowly avoiding stuff. Yeah, he's going to panic. But if he instead had a job that was like, watch the rear sensors, make sure no one's sneaking up from behind, like kind of like a stupid job, right? But an important one, then he would be occupied and head in the game instead of this like nervous stuff.
I mean, even Cassian, he could put him on like a real job. So like Cassian's off my mind. I don't have to worry about the rear sensors. But yeah, probably nothing's going to happen, but it's off my mind now. I don't need to worry about it, which makes Cassian's flying easier. Instead, he's doing like show off, no look turns.
No look flying,
amongst the cliffs. Like, what are we doing, Cassian?
Drifting in space.
This is serious.
Wilman, Wilman, get me coffee. I need to be alert for this. And then Wilman's just like struggling with the carafe, like trying to pour and not spill.
Yeah.
But it's like, get me that cup of coffee, focus. Yeah. Keep him occupied, right?
Got to stay low. Don't spill it. Oh.
But yeah,
Wilman's
but actually that would give him a job, and then he would be less focused on like narrowly missing mountains.
That's true. Bad CRM in my opinion. Look at that no look.
Dropping that looks cool.
No. Is he flying by instruments? No. He's just no looking that whole way. Such good feel for the stick.
He's flown it so many times. This is a commander that cares. He's Imperial. He's a supervisor. He's supposed to be like the murder guy, but actually, I think he would be a pretty good person to work for. He cares.
Form up!
These new guys.
Sergeant?
Sir? Soldiers.
Get these men shaped up and ready for presentation.
There's not a man amongst them, sir, but I'll do what I can.
Don't do that.
Am I going to have a problem with you?
Duly noted, sir. Problem free.
I mean, that's pretty good. So I guess in an analogy, this would be like a lieutenant or maybe higher, and this is the sergeant. And so there's these new recruits, these enlistees, and they're pretty new and a little nervous there, but they've passed all their classes. They passed they're graduated to be acting troopers. And so that's when the sergeant shits on them, then the lieutenant, the commander, he comes in and he's like, don't do that. Like, respect these guys. Don't treat them poorly. Don't talk down to them. We want them to fight well. I mean, that's actually a good commander.
It's a good commander because these guys have been through the training. They are soldiers. They're trained
qualified.
Up. They may be green, but you're the sergeant of the men. What are you doing, like shitting all over them? Come on now.
Right. Get them to believe in you. Get them to follow you. Don't put them in a situation where they don't want to follow your orders because you're douchebag to them. Not cool.
Right. Why call them not men? I know they're young.
Right.
I mean, but soldiers are young. Like, what is that about? I don't get it.
So that's why I say this guy's actually a pretty good commander, even though he's there to do some underhanded killing everyone's thing. He's actually taking care of people, looking out for their self-esteem.
It's weird. The officer coming in to the sergeant defending the men. What the heck? Ooh. He cares though. He does care.
I mean, yeah, right. Not an angry face. Pretty good guy.
Yeah. Vel describes the whole group from Aldhani on as Luthen's puppets. What? Why?
I know how deeply you believe in what we're doing. We're not Luthen's puppets anymore. We're not a bunch of maniacs running around Aldhani. We're building a real army. Cassian is a leader now. We've all given so much. A little discipline doesn't seem too much to ask.
He'll be there when you need him.
I know how deeply
so what's the objection?
you believe in what we're doing. We're not Luthen's puppets.
As far as I understand, Luthen is one of the leaders of this burgeoning rebel alliance. And for a long time, there was no formal hierarchy or command structure in the rebel alliance. So Luthen has a bunch of volunteer people, spies, soldiers, saboteurs, running around the galaxy causing problems and moving toward overthrowing the Empire. But those are voluntary people. They're not puppets, right? They're allegiance to the cause of bringing back the Republic. What was this puppets? Luthen doesn't have the power to make puppets. What the heck is this?
Right, you're saying so like a puppet is like a marionette. You have strings attached to people, and that doll down there has no choice. You pull the string, it dances for you. But what you're saying here is that these people are in volunteer army. Luthen doesn't have any actual control over you. Right. He has like the only control he has is that you're dedicated to the cause. But if you ever wanted to walk away, just walk away.
Just walk away.
So that's not a puppet. You're not being forced to do that. You're volunteering to do it.
That's right. Like on Aldhani, they had the group of 6 people. And there was like a spy in the Imperial base who voluntarily was siding with Luthen, and the people were coming together. There was a lot of conflict, but like everybody was there voluntarily, and they could have walked away at any point in time. They are certainly not puppets. And she's saying that the Rebel Alliance with soldiers and a command structure, follow orders, do what we say. They're not puppets? Like, what is this?
That's right. And Aldhani, Vel was in command. You were the puppet master of the people below you.
She was in command. What? Vel. I don't know what her angle is. She's like trying to undermine Luthen for some reason.
Gosh. This is after Cinta died, right?
Yeah.
And so Vel is all upset about Cinta, and so she's lashing out, making attacks on Luthen.
But didn't Cinta and Vel specifically request each other on the mission?
In fact, I forget if it was Cinta or if it was Vel. One of them said that I was only going to do this mission if you were here too.
That's right. And Luthen probably had his way. They would not be on the mission together. 2 valuable assets working together on a single mission. No, thank you.
2 valuable assets working together on a single mission is okay if you need their skills to overlap, but if you need their skills to overlap, but then also they have this romantic entanglement, which may cause them not to think well, that's a problem.
Oh, yeah, the romantic entanglement is the worst part. Yeah.
After Cinta died, Vel was like, frozen, like not knowing what to do. Right. Like, that's a problem.
So Vel and Cinta are able to push back against Luthen and change mission parameters. And then when that mission goes wrong, Vel's like, I was a puppet. Luthen's fault that Cinta died. Like, wait, that is completely not what happened.
I mean, the fact that she was able to push on Luthen to get them to be in the same mission together, it means that she could influence Luthen, which means she's not a puppet.
She's not a puppet.
Not a puppet.
Vel is just flying off the handle here for no reason.
Taking shots at the rebel command structure because she's upset.
Yeah.
Unprofessional. In Andor, Season 2, Episode 7, we see an argument that is very much in support of martial law. Looks pretty good.
Second floor. 3rd from the left.
She's in there. She sleeps in the building. She's easy to spot.
The glass. Might need 2 shots.
I don't know. It's old. I can ask.
So martial law, not good. Troopers out in the street, pointing weapons in the vague direction of civilians. Attention, curfew is now in effect. And this is bad. We don't want to have martial law. At the same time, we see Wilman and Andor. They're rebels. They're terrorists. They're relative to this society. They're terrorists, and they're planning an assassination right now of the commanding officer. This is an argument in favor of martial law. We don't want these people out here planning murders. Right.
Yeah, from the Imperial perspective, these people are trying to undermine the society of Ghorman and the galaxy at large. So we want to put a stop to it. So martial law is in effect for that reason. If we don't put martial law into effect, there's going to be bombings and shootings and sabotage and all kinds of stuff. Got to put a stop to it.
Right. Even with this martial law in effect, even with this curfew, you still have outside extremists, right? Neither of these people are from Ghorman. You have outside influences that are saboteurs and murderers and assassins. They're just walking around your city at nighttime. I would bring the curfew even earlier.
That's right. Imagine in your society, in your city, wherever you're living, there's just bombs going off, shootings, flames, fires, who knows what. And the military comes in, shuts it down with a curfew, and stuff is peaceful, and I can go grocery shopping without like dodging bullets. I'd be like, I don't want martial law, but at the same time,
like that's the deal. I want my kids to be able to walk home. Okay, it gets worse, right? So Ghorman is like this French planet, French vibe, right? And so now you have outsiders, not from Ghorman, that are actual terrorists. So like, martial law, like show me your papers. That's exactly for these people.
So it's Space Germany going up against Space France, and Space France is about to lose.
And Space France has, not only is Space France going to fight against Space Germany, but they're bringing outside people from like Latin America, communist people coming in to do the war for them. Like this is an argument that we should have even more martial law, like even more restrictions, so that way you don't get these terror events.
That's right.
Right.
I mean, would the Republic, if there was a planet with lots and lots of rebellion activity, would the Republic send in the Jedi and soldiers and temporarily institute martial law to bring order? Yeah. And then when they think it's okay, they pull back out? I think they would.
Yeah. And to complete the analogy, it's Jedi are put down on the planet to maintain order, and then there's a few Force-sensitive people that are planning murders and planning assassinations of the Jedi. Like, you guys are the bad guys. Of course we're going to clamp down on you.
Of course, yeah.
And all the Ghorman people would be happy to not see these outsiders planning murders in their streets. Right?
That's right. Especially if you're just like a normal resident. You're like, can you please go away?
Yeah, right. Stop instigating rebellions, and so that I can walk around and get my baguettes.
Right.
Yeah, this is the cool scene right towards the end when we see Rebel Spycraft, but I think it would not have worked. This is not James Bond level. Okay, cool. Cool, like false floor underneath the suitcase. Got your guns in there. But look how thin the usable space is. He's got like a shirt, a pair of pants, and then bam, just right away to this false floor.
Right, it's such a bad false floor to the point where, like, even if you weren't looking for spycraft or like a false floor, you'd be like, this suitcase is weird. What? Right?
Like, why is this suitcase so heavy, so large, and then upon inspection, you fit one shirt and one pants? What? Why is this thing so big and heavy?
Yeah, so one inspection, you're going to be like, this is clearly a false. Oh, it's a loose floor. Oh, there's guns.
Immediately caught right away. So if you had something... Like this was like a folder, like a briefcase, and it was like a little slim sliver at the bottom that held just like a single sheet of paper. So you still maintain most of the volume. I think it could have got away. It's just the guns that he has in here are too large for the false floor that he had. If he had like this big old box, meter, and he's like, I'm a photographer. This is all my camera equipment. Then there's a false floor in that thing to hold this stuff. This is a small percentage. I think you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Not that I'm advocating that, but I think you can get away with it. I'm just saying this is too large of a hidden volume for the briefcase that he has.
It's way too thick. I mean, just looking at this picture right here, look how much there's like 2 inches of usable space tops.
Let's get a brighter one.
Yeah.
Right. This is the usable space. You get one shirt, one pair of pants.
Yeah. The false floor, though, is a cool, like, leather thing, though. Looking all Ghorman-like. I like it.
True. Looks like rich stuff. Looks like Ghorman stuff.
Look at this. Look at that false... Oh, yeah.
Ooh. You didn't even see the pores of whatever animal it came from? Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so good. Got those nice little handles built in. But they're not, like, plastic. They're actually created.
Oh, yeah.
Handcrafted.
Yeah, this is like it's like copper riveted, hammered in. None of this punch stuff.
Yep. Very Ghorman.
But overall, whoever is doing the spycraft for the rebels, y'all need to talk to James Bond people. They'll do all this stuff, like shove it down inside of a watch. Super cool.
Yeah. Jedi Q is needed.
Jedi Q. Yeah, that'd be perfect. All right, that was it. That was the end of our episode. See you next time for Star Wars Andor Season 2, Episode 9?
8.
9. 8? 8.
Modulo 3.
Oh, that's right.
See you guys next time.
7, 8 comes after 7.